Welcome back to the locker room. I'm Captain Paul. This is Fajardo. How's it going there, Fajardo?
Not much, just hanging in there.
So we have some hockey news to talk about today. Adin Hill traded to the Golden Knights from the San Jose Sharks. Are you familiar with Adin Hill at all?
Not too much. Just that there was some hope that he'd be the starter for Arizona. Well, I mean, that he'd become that number one guy for them. And then when he went to San Jose, he got more games, and he looked decent, but it wasn't a starting type of thing. Like he just didn't look like a starter there. But I mean, if you take a look, both of these franchises have been struggling. So maybe going to a new team that's a little more stabilized, if you want to say, with a roster, maybe it works out for him. Maybe he can become that number one guy there.
Well, let's go right into the article. Adin Hill traded to the Golden Knights in a trade with the San Jose Sharks on Monday for a fourth-round pick in the 2024 NHL draft. So not even this upcoming next draft, but the one after. The 26-year-old goalie is in the final season of a 2-year contract. He signed with San Jose on August 4th, 2021. He was 10-11-1 with a 2.66 goals against average, a 906 save percentage, and 2 shutouts in 25 games, 22 starts last season. This is what Hill had to say. The Knights are a great hockey team. They want to make the playoffs and make a push for the cup. I'm excited and for the expectations. We're all here to win a Stanley Cup. That's why you play the game, to win the cup. Hill is 6'6", so a bigger goalie, right? Will compete for playing time with Laurent Brunsaw, and also behind Logan Thomas, who is likely to be the number one goalie after Vegas announced 11th that Robin Lehner is expected to be out for the season because of hip surgeries. This is what the general manager, Kelly McCrimmon, had to say. This puts another really good goalie in our organization in our mix. It gives us a lot of comfort going into the year. I believe Aiden has a lot of ability and has very good size. Brossaw was 10-9-3 last season, 2.90 with an 895 save percentage. Not that great. 1 shutout in 24 games and then 21 starts, but he didn't play after March 15th and had a medical procedure for an undisclosed injury after the season. McCrimmon said that he wasn't sure Brossaw would be ready when the Golden Knights opened the season at the Los Angeles Kings on October 11th. Vegas also signed goalie Michael Hutchinson. We actually talked about this in a video when we did our review, to a 1-year contract July 13th. The 32-year-old played 2 games for Toronto last season and 28 games for the Toronto of the AHL. Selected by the Arizona Coyotes in the 3rd round, 76 of the 2015 NHL draft. Hill is 29, 32-5 with a 2.74 goals against and a 908 save percentage and 5 shutouts in 74 games, 63 starts during 5 seasons with the Coyotes and Sharks. James Reimer, this is what actually Mike Greer, the San Jose GM, had to say about this. James Reimer and Kaapo Kakkonen are experienced veterans who are capable of providing quality goaltending for our team. We have significantly increased our organizational depth at goaltending position over the last 6 months. This trade provides an opportunity for Aiden to compete for playing time while adding another asset to our organization that can use in the future. We wish Aiden the best in Vegas. All right, so kind of essentially saying without really saying that we just decided to move on from Adin Hill. I mean, if you look at Adin Hill, a 6'6" frame, that is what a lot of guys look at. You look at the Vasilevskis of the world. You look at I think even Ottinger's like around 6'5", 6'6". Like Ben Bishop. Like there's just a lot of bigger goalies now. Where before there used to be that thing like if you're too big, you can't be as mobile, which some of these guys are proving wrong. But let's go into the pure statistics here. The most important team he played on with Rapid City Rush, little struggles, but let's go with NHL stats. 4 games played, 2017, 2018, 3.49 goals against, an 891 save percentage, and his win-loss was 1 win and 3 losses. So first cup of copy in the NHL, didn't go great. 2018, 2019, 13 games played. He went 16... No, I apologize. He went 7-5 with a 901 save percentage and 2.76 goals against. Next season, 2019 to 2020, 13 games played again, a 918 save percentage, a 2.62 goals against, 2, 4, and 3. 2020 to 2021, 19 games played, at the most in his career at that point, with a 913 save percentage, a 2.74 goals against, 9 wins, 9 losses, and 1 overtime loss or tie, which no, it's overtime loss at this point. And then last season with the Sharks, when he got dealt from Arizona to the Sharks, most games he's played in the season, 25 games played, a 906 save percentage, 2.66 goals against, 10 wins, 11 losses, and 1 overtime loss. Essentially 908 save percentage in his career, 2.74 goals against, with a 29, 32, and 5 record. I think Adin Hill has a lot. I mean, for a goalie, he's not that old, really. He's actually still relatively young. He's only 26 years old. A lot of goalies will kind of hit that prime a little bit later in their 20s, mid to late 20s. I think he still has the ability to figure it out. But I will say this might be one of his last chances to prove that he can be a starter.
Yeah.
That he can be a starter. Because I think a guy 6'6", guys will just take them as like a bigger body because they know they'll be able to take up a lot of the net and make some saves. Like he has respectable NHL stats. But Robin Lehner's out. They're going to be going with Logan Thompson, it seems like, and then Brassard will be fighting for that backup position with Adin Hill. This is Adin Hill's position to take. And I mean, even Logan Thompson, who played pretty solid, he's not a bona fide number 1 goalie in the NHL right now. He could prove us wrong, and he could be going to be an all-star this upcoming season. But this would be the perfect opportunity for Adin Hill to take this situation and run with it. He's a big guy. Arizona thought, relatively highly of him. He took him in the 3rd round. That's relatively high for a goaltender. And he's got the size. He's got the ability. He just got to get the tools together. So what are you thinking about this trade?
Considering the Knights situation, I definitely think it's a smart move to get some depth in that goalie position, considering your starter is going to be out for the year. And I mean, for the most part, it's not necessarily a rebuild, but you brought some guys in last year, like Jack Eichel, right? Stuff like that. So you're kind of in a decent place. You don't want to lose the momentum, and adding more depth in your goalie situation, especially with someone who was considered to be, like you said, someone who was looked at to be really good because he was picked up in the 3rd round. So there was a lot. There must have been a lot there for Arizona to pick them in the 3rd round. So he just has to show it here in the NHL. He needs to translate whatever they saw in him. This is his time. This is his chance. He either shows up or he flops, right? And this is how many shining superstars in any sport gets their chance, right? Your number 1 goes down, and the guy behind could have been great, but you'll never know unless that number 1 goes down. Look at Brady. Nobody would know who Brady is had Bledsoe not gotten down.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying this guy is Brady, right? But hey, we don't know what's to come from the goaltending. I mean, that's the biggest question to the Knights right now. It's just their goaltending situation. You got a couple of guys that have looked okay, but they haven't been the number 1.
No.
Now you're putting one guy who did well in the number 1 position, right? You're bringing in a guy who was set to be, one of those guys that should be a starting goalie in the NHL. You have another guy who is going to come off an injury at some point, wanting to fight for a roster position. So in a way, the team competition to lift each other up is going to be there. Now it's just about who's going to actually take that step up and say, hey, I'm here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And Hill is finding himself in a great position to put his name in the hat. So
absolutely. Yeah,
more power
absolutely.
to him.
So, that's our thoughts on this trade for the Knights. I think it's going to be interesting for this goalie situation, and it's Hill's opportunity to shine. Let us know your thoughts down below in the comment section. What do you think of this trade? Do you think Adin Hill could be a possible starter for the Vegas Golden Knights, or do you think he's more of a rotational guy, or could he just be a solid backup? We here at the Locker Room really appreciate you guys commenting and kind of starting these types of discussions. So, I'm Captain Paul. That's Fajardo. We'll see you in the next episode of the Locker Room. Peace.
Peace.